Bonjour ni hao!
Welcome back to the Game Boys channel.
I'm Johnny.
And I'm Tim.
And today we're here with the anniversary video! So after our Q&A that Tim and I did, which we will link above and below, we were talking about our wedding and how our anniversary is actually today. So we thought it would be fun, and you commented below that you would like to hear more about our wedding, which was 6 years ago.
Yeah, and I decided to wear this color shirt for a reason. Do you know why?
Because that was our color story.
One of them. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're so well done, Tim.
I know, I thought you were gonna wear silver.
I don't really have a lot of silver, I don't think.
So that was our color scheme, spoiler alert.
And so we're just gonna take you through some of our decision making, some of our aesthetics, and just talk a little bit about our wedding day that was a while ago, as well as just kind of reminisce ourselves about our special day.
Yeah, and as you guys probably maybe could figure out from our videos, John is super organized. So he did have a binder of all of the planning info and everything. But first we want to kind of go over our save the dates.
Yes.
Because we actually were lucky to be able to pick this day for our wedding because both of us are very big into pop culture, and it's once in like forever that this day happened to fall on a Saturday. So our date of marriage was April 25th.
And if you're familiar with Miss Congeniality, when asked to describe your perfect date, and insert clip.
I'd have to say April 25th, because it's not too hot, not too cold. All you need is a light jacket.
So we did our engagement photos as our save the dates.
And so, like, it was just super fun because, like, it was April, and, like, I knew we couldn't get married in the summer because I would just sweat too much, right? And so, fall just didn't make sense, so spring was perfect for us, and
actually, the week before we got married, it snowed in Chicago. So,
but it's an easy date to remember, and it, like, a lot of what you'll see in, like, our planning and, like, what the choices we made were very, like, winky. We always wanted ourselves to, like, resonate through what I would still call to this day a very traditional wedding. So yeah, we did a save the date magnet, and it was super fun, and
people actually still say that they have their magnets on their fridge, which is fun.
Yes. Like, if you look at the save the date, like, that font and what you see there is something that Tim and I permeated from, like, the entire planning process, because, like, working in marketing and PR for Broadway shows, like, there's very specific branding and style guides, and so you'll see, like, thematic font choices.
Yeah. He's very excellent at, like, attention to detail, and he's very organized. I think he missed his calling. He could have done this for a living. So first, we went on a few tours of venues. I think we checked out, what, like 4 or 5 before we kind of, like, picked the one that we wanted. We ended up picking one because it was a banquet hall that used to be a movie theater, so it had tons of space. The great thing is they actually had rooms that we could get married in, and then the separate room was the ceremony, or the reception. So, like, everyone just, like, went, you know, from one room to the next, and it was really great. Okay, so next in the scheme of things, we went to look at a few DJs, and actually we only checked out one, which was nice, because we went there, he was, like, really cool, laid back. He kind of, like, showed us this website where you can add, like, songs that you want, a do not playlist, which we had quite the few songs. So what do we have? We had, like, YMCA was, like, a big no.
Yeah.
We didn't want the chicken dance.
No.
Macarena we said no to. There was quite a few. I wish we still had, like, that list.
That playlist.
But
The other thing
epic.
that I want to share too is that like we divided and conquered a lot of the planning. Like Tim really is into like music, photography, and like food, so like he kind of took over like those things, where I took over like overall planning, a lot of the design aesthetic and like collateral materials for like the wedding. And so like it was really nice, just like this YouTube channel, right? Like we were able to share the responsibilities of like wedding planning. So whereas like normally in a traditional wedding it was like be like a girl planning all the, like we were very balanced and very involved in all of the processes.
Yeah, and what was nice is at the venue we picked, we actually got kind of like a planner included, but she didn't really do planning.
No, she was just like our on-site consultant.
Yeah, I wouldn't say she was a planner. They said it was a planner, but she wasn't a planner. And what's funny is like we got along perfect. She loved us. We loved her. She was awesome. And then like the week before she texted us and she's like, so I broke my foot and I'm not going to be able to do your wedding, but like here's this person. And we're like, okay. But everything turned out good. Yes. The day of, and it was just, you know, normal people in that situation were probably freaked out, but we're like, by that time, we had so much done, and like we're like, you know what, everything will fall into place.
That is the one thing. Like we were able to enjoy our wedding because we were very mindful of the fact that like we had done everything and planned everything in advance. So like we were able to be very present in the moment. Also, fun fact, I didn't have my phone that day. I said, I gave it to like my wedding party and I was like, if anyone texts me, here is a binder of everything you need to know that if like something happens and like we all die, unless Timmy is not here for some reason, like there is no reason anyone should be stressing out either of us. And so like we had these like massive documents, and I remember at our rehearsal dinner, everyone got these like customized folders with their itineraries that were personalized, and they were like, what? And I was like, everyone just needs to know what they're responsible for, and like if you make your expectations and plan known to everybody, there is going to be no problems.
After the DJ, we did pick out a photo booth because that's very like personal to us. Like whenever we see one of those photo booths in like a mall, a museum, like a bar, whatever, like we would always take one. So maybe we'll throw a couple in here. But that was important to us. We kind of wanted to make that, it's very us. We wanted to share it with everyone. So we actually looked at 2 different places.
Yes.
So we actually did not go with the one that was with our photographer.
Yes.
Just because, like, I don't know, some of like the way that they printed out their like strips looked weird to us.
Oh, I remember that now.
And we were like, no. So we found a good one. And the day of, so they were supposed to get there because they were setting up the other room for like the cocktail hour, and they were supposed to actually get there, I think like around 3, 4.
Their call time for the Music by Design and Photo Booth by Design were there.
And then the ceremony started at 5, and they were still not there at 5. So we were like, okay, what the heck? We're like, all right, bridesmaids, groomsmen, take care of it. So like one of his groomsmen called, and they're like, oh, we're in traffic. So like they ended up being there right at the right time, which was like, I mean, we were like, okay.
I don't have to worry about anything. Oh yeah, because we opened the doors at 5. Ceremony started at 5:30. Printed ceremony time was 5:30, and we started at 5:35 on the dot. All of those details were outlined in our invitations, which I still, like, there's some things about our wedding, like, that I still love, and I'm, like, very happy that we made those choices. And one of them is our invitations, and I just think they were so pretty, and, like, I loved that their simplicity, I loved their size.
We had, how many printed? Like 200?
Because we had, like, what, a wedding of 173, 180?
The one we picked came with like RSVP cards that you would send back. It had like a room block notice because we did get the hotel for us, and we had the
honeymoon suite. Yes. And then after we did that, we started working more on the design. We took a lot of inspiration from Disney itself and created visual anchors, or Walt called them weenies, right? It was the smell of when you walked into a Walt Disney World park, you smelled the smell of hot dogs and you saw like the big thing at the end that like catches your eye, and that's the Tree of Life, the Mission Space, and the Cinderella's Castle, or Sleeping Beauty's castle. And so we wanted to create those kind of same focal points in every space that we had. Because it was a banquet hall, the room itself was empty when we came in, and it was very sparse. So we had to create everything from nothing. And the one thing we wanted to do was create height, because the room, it was a movie theater, as Tim said, and so there was all this vertical space, and so it's like, how do you draw the eye up? And so we created using all of these, like, there was the champagne glass, and then the martini
glass as like a big holder, and yeah, we were able to pick the colors we wanted. The flowers didn't have like, because this was our like purple color, we kind of went a little bit lighter just to like have some contrast with the flowers.
And we used this effect that I loved of these acrylic boxes, and it's a box within a box, as I always said. And inside the lit boxes, there were water lilies inside the boxes, and they were all lit. And I remember when we were doing our walkthrough and our photos, one of the boxes, do you remember this, was not right, and I could tell that the color was wrong. And I remember looking at all of them, and I was like, that color, like one of them was like slightly off, and I was like, can we check that one? And they're like, oh, it was off. And I was like, exactly. So box within a box. And the other thing that we did was the lighting, because I always think that lighting tells a very good story and directs your eye. So what we wore, so Tim and I always knew from when I was like growing up that like I didn't want to rent something to wear on my wedding day, just because like I didn't want to be in something that like a kid at their 18th like prom went to, you know? We actually used this company, Combatant Gentlemen, that actually did custom fitted suits that were like the same price as like renting a tuxedo. Like I'm talking so like reasonable. Under $200. And so we got our groomsmen, or my groomsmen and Tim's groomsmen, the same dark gray suits. Tim and I went with the same style in a light gray, because it was April and spring. And then Tim, you found your dresses.
Yeah, and then I actually worked for a doctor's office. I was a doctor's assistant, and I interacted with patients a lot. There was a patient that actually owned her own bridal boutique store, and we like talked, and she's like, you know, you should just come here, check it out. We're guaranteed to have stuff you'll like. So I had 3 girls in my party, so we all met up there. I had them try on stuff, and I fell in love with these dresses that we found, because it was the perfect juxtapose. The girls were in purple, the boys were in gray, those were our colors. So it just worked out very lovely. And then like we were lucked out that our banquet hall actually had food in there. So like we didn't have to like bring in caterers or whatever. So they're just like, okay, here's the plan for this. What do you want for this? And the best part is our wedding cake was included with the venue. So they kind of just had us go to this bakery, you know, do a couple of taste testing. We looked through the books, and of course, you know, John's like, okay, actually I like this part of this part of this part of this. So we just like merge them all together. And then we made the perfect dream cake for us.
Yes, it was sparkly. It was also like, it was square and circle. There was beautiful like the quilting on it. Like, I loved our cake. And what flavor was it? Do you remember what flavor?
Velvet, I think.
No, it wasn't.
I don't know.
Hold on.
I didn't eat any of that.
No. And the other thing is, Tim and I had like the biggest, also included in our wedding, was like this massive dessert table. And like, there were like cheesecakes, cakes, ice cream bars, like all of this stuff that like, I know we didn't eat. I don't remember what our cake was.
I don't know.
But I remember it was gorgeous. Oh, while we're on the subject of cake, they don't tell you when they, like, when you're cutting the cake that there's a specific place to cut. No one told me that memo. So when we're doing like our moment where we like did the cake cutting, I didn't know that the cake was cardboard on the bottom. And so like I take a knife and I like go at it and like it's not cutting. And like I finally stab the fork, knife into the cake like a savage.
And then I'm like, okay, let's just pretend. Let's just grab some cream out of the top and like, that'll be our like
moment. And so I was like, okay, great. So we literally had this like plate. We didn't cut cake. We just put a scraped frosting on our plate and then ate frosting.
It was very like Lady and the Tramp sweet.
Yes. Our ceremony was really special on so many levels, was because Tim's godmother actually performed the ceremony at the banquet hall, and because Tim and I didn't get married in a church, we actually were able to design and create our own ceremony format, which was really exciting for us.
Awesome. So we had, 4 of our friends, family kind of thing give, I guess,
readings.
Yeah, readings, but we picked them. So like, I had some Carrie Underwood song lyrics and
a quote from Bob Marley. Yeah. Our music. That's the other thing. I loved our soundtrack for our
we
wedding.
wanted a few Disney moments. I think we only had one, but
it was our recessional. So we walked into our wedding party walked into 1,000 years. All of our wedding music for our ceremony was instrumental, piano and cello recording. So it was 1,000 years for our wedding processional. Tim and I walked into a cover of When It's Time that was just instrumental
by Green Day.
By Green Day, and so beautiful.
And that was it had meaning to us, like it was kind of like our song unofficially.
Our recessional for us and our wedding party was from Enchanted, and it was Ever Ever After by Carrie Underwood. So many levels that hits, because we love Disney, not as much as we love now, but we love Disney, and Tim loves Carrie Underwood, so it was like a double thing.
Yeah, and we did end up doing our own vows, which was awesome. I got choked up a little bit in between my vows, and my aunt was actually there to be like, okay, what are you doing? Come on.
People expect it from me, right? Like,
so
that's...
I was kind of crying. People are like, oh, and then you could see everyone else crying. I really wish I would have kept my vows, because I made them sweet, funny, and I kind of threw in some of our inside jokes, and I mentioned Broadway, and I got a lot of comments that mine made people cry, so I was like, that was cute.
I still have mine. Other thing that was really important to me. This is like the behind the scenes BTS explosion. I don't personally, when I see people ruin the aesthetic of whatever a wedding looks like and bring out a phone. I just don't like the way that contemporary mix of things. So I made all of us back all of our readings up on black cards. If I did forensics as a kid growing up, and so whenever you would do speeches, you'd always mount everything on a black piece of cardstock because it's more discreet. And so I have mine. I also have bolded things and highlighted, but.
Yeah, I remember the day before the wedding. I had mine done, and Johnny, I had it on paper. That wasn't acceptable. So I went to the hotel computer lab and printed everything out the day before. And then on the day of, we both had our parents walk us down the aisle, which was very special to me because since then my mom has passed away. So I'll always have that moment knowing she was so happy and walking me down the aisle. Then we had my dad on my other arm making dad jokes. And then it was cute. And then I was waiting for John, so he was the bride technically.
Which is why I wore a white bow tie and Tim wore a black bow tie. That was the other thing that we realized too, especially with a gay wedding, was that the rules of traditional roles in a wedding, we could just throw up or down or embrace them or not. We could do whatever we wanted. And so we both wanted to walk down the aisle. That was important to both of us. And it was just a question, and then it made sense that I was last. Because I was the girl.
Yes. So yeah, then we had the readings, we had our own vows. My aunts did a very good job at making it personal to us because she knew both of us, and it was awesome.
So then we leave the wedding, and as Timmy was saying, everyone just moved right into cocktail hour. But another behind-the-scene fact, boom, is that we used the 10 flower arrangements from our ceremony room in our reception room. And the venue needed 5 minutes to make that transition. And I was like, great, 5 minutes. And I was like, they could do it behind like the doors outside and like do it flawlessly. But we needed 5 minutes to like kind of like keep everyone, and we didn't know what to do. So we did a modified version of a receiving line and created our own step and repeat. Using what? Our logo that you've seen throughout this entire video.
Such a cool idea. Still, I get people saying like that was such a clever idea, because we didn't really we wanted to enjoy our night, you know, like together with our family. We didn't really necessarily want to do the traditional like, okay, we'll go together, walk to every table and say hi to everyone. We're like, you know, we need this time. We could have everyone kind of come up with us, snap a photo with us, we could talk to everyone, and it worked out perfect. We'll show a bunch of the step and repeat photos.
And the step and repeat moment was definitely very us, and it bought us enough time to go into make that transition happen.
Yeah, and then everyone was kind of guided out to our little tree. And then they grabbed their card to tell them where to sit.
And we, in lieu of a traditional guest book, we did a photo frame with purple and black markers that we mounted in that we still look at. We put it in our walk-in closet because we always wanted that picture frame to be for us and not for anyone else, and so it's something that we look at every day and still remember. The step and repeat vinyl and the tree were our anchors in the hallway, but then you walk in to the main room and you get to see what was our anchor in our main reception room.
What really got us this room, it had the most beautiful chandelier up there, and then it had like a beautiful sky up at the top, which totally gave us like a little bit of like Toy Story sky vibes.
A little bit of Tangled too, now that I look at it. And so we added the draping and the fabric to really bring your eye up. But then they had this, like, I would call it like that hotel banquet floor dance floor, the brown one that's a little up. And it's lovely and it's great. And a lot of people put gobos on those, but the reason why I don't like a light gobo, like where it shines light through and you get like a thing, is that as soon as people start moving, the illusion is gone. Yeah. So we discovered this thing through our florist, which was white vinyl. And so so like we covered the entire dance floor in white vinyl. Then they were like, do you want to put anything on it? And I said, absolutely. Let's put the logo on the thing again. Smack that there. And so it created what I still think are some beautiful photos that actually look like a meme. Like if you look, when I look at this back now, it looks like we added that in post, but like it was there. Like, and I love having that. Like,
that's not a meme.
No, but like it looked like it was. Don't forget, this was 2015, right? And so like the graphic nature of that. Dance
also
floor.
You didn't mention the social media thing you did.
We had no phones during our ceremony. That was what is important. That we wanted it to be just in the moment. People could tweet and do everything else. So we asked people to turn off their phones there. We then had this blow up poster that used another one of our wedding engagement photos that then said Instagram, Facebook, tweet, please help make our day extra sweet using hashtag Gilna.
So if you look at Instagram under this hashtag Gilna, you could actually see some of our wedding photos. On everybody's table, John made this awesome card that we had on there that instead of wedding favors, we actually made a donation in the names of my mom, John's mom, and John's grandmother that had breast cancer. So we wanted to make that our donation instead of giving everyone, you know, little things.
Or like M&Ms or something. Like, right, we wanted to do some sort of favor, but again, in that same vein as I was saying at the beginning, we wanted it to be personal to us. Following dinner, we had our first dance, and we danced to a cover of The Story from The Voice.
Yeah, Brandi Carlile's the original. We liked her version, but it was a little bit like, I don't know, not right for it. So we had Jesse Pitt's version from The Voice, which was just such a beautiful version. It was beautiful. We had our first dance.
all for being here. We are so happy. We were sitting up there and we were looking out at all of you, and it was just happy, and we were good, and I wasn't crazy, and I wasn't neurotic, and everything's going well. I'm fine, Tim's fine. It's all good. So, thank you. Now we'd like to both invite our moms to the stage so we can have a dance with them. Important part about this stuff is that I, from when I was really little, always knew that if I had the pleasure and honor of being married someday, that I always wanted to dance with my mom to this song, because when I came over and was really little and my mom would sing to me, she sang this song. And so when I told him that, he said that the song had the same memory and importance to him. So we are so happy and honored to be able to do this dance with our moms.
Go get him, baby! Go get him!
My mom did the same thing, and she would always sing that to me, and we would kind of almost sing like we were the mouse versions. So that was very sweet and very ironic. So we had the first dance with our moms, and then we actually like kind of swapped and then like danced with each other's moms for like the last portion of it, which was really sweet. The photo booth was a lot of fun. They actually had a book where, you know, there was markers where people could write like next to like their strips and like say stuff, which we actually have this book, which will kind of show you a little bit of them. The one thing I do regret about this is Johnny and I did not get a photo together in the book, like just the two of us.
The other thing I regret is that in hindsight, we would have hired a videographer. That's the one thing that we definitely missed. We have some video clips, but it wasn't necessarily produced. And we always thought like we'll have photos and stuff, but in hindsight, we would have done.
We would definitely recommend get a videographer, because I mean it is like a little bit extra money, but it's totally worth it because I don't remember my vows. I couldn't find them anywhere. Like people don't have videos anymore, so like. We don't remember mine
as well.
Yeah, so that would have been nice to have. So after those dances, we did the cake, which we didn't really eat much of because we were like talking and having fun with people. And then they brought out that big dessert table, which people were living for. They're like,
so decadent.
We didn't get really any of that either. But then like, people were dancing, having fun, and then we did do the kind of like after dessert thing with the meals. So we had like mini cheeseburgers, pizzas, which is good for drunk people because, you know,
munchy, munchy, munchy. We then took everyone back to the hotel for an after party, which was super fun. We then had a morning brunch for all of our guests, and then that was our wedding. We saved and it flew by, but I still am so happy that we were both very actively present, and like, it was such a positive memory. There was no stress, as we said, it was great. We saved our wedding cake. We saved it in our freezer for an entire year. And then on our 1 year anniversary, we bought it back out, and it wasn't as good.
Yeah, we're like, okay.
We did.
We attempted
We tried it. We did the thing where we saved it. And then 2 days after our wedding is when we went to our honeymoon in Maui. If you want to hear more about some of Tim's and our travel adventures, comment below on what you would like to hear.
Yeah, so we will kind of show again things that we missed talking about earlier.
Oh, and
we'll go through our book.
Yeah, that was what I interrupted Tim saying. Tim was saying that after our wedding, our photographer sent us all the pictures, we got all the proofs, and then they put it into this beautiful like album that they mounted.
Yeah, so we will show you here. Just kind of flipping through. The first page says, The Wedding of Tim and John, April 25th, 2015. So it's been 6 years. And then Jolie Images was what created. These are our wedding rings. They are from David Yurman. We absolutely love how she put this together. This was our wedding invitation. And then it had our flower scheme here. A very lovely photo. I like that she picked a black and white photo to go kind of on top of the colors. And then this was me getting ready with my groomsmen, my best friend Corey, my brother Mike, and then I had my niece Alyssa in there, my friends Laura and Lauren was my maid of honor.
And then here are my groomsmen getting ready. There are my groomsmen Paul and Jacob, as well as my friend Josh, who actually I am in business with for my game company, my good friend Mike, and my friend David, who now lives overseas in now Amsterdam, but he was who I visited in London, and I'll link that video above and below.
Yes, and then here are just
our solo shots.
Some solo shots. These they did are an entire page of me and my wedding party together, and like a bunch of different film.
And here's me and my wedding party. This is a photo that was modeled off of Bridesmaids. Bridesmaids was all the rage back then in 2015. And then there are solo shots of me and each of my wedding party members.
And then this photo was kind of a disaster. But we appreciate the photographer kind of listening to us. So this one we wanted to make us look like a heart. But she was kind of short, so she had to stand on a ladder, and she didn't really quite tell Corey to move over a little bit and Jacob and everyone to move the other side. But that was a fun photo. Then we have all of the group shots. I love like the hoopah kind of in the background with our tints color. That was a fun photo.
Oh, this is us with our parents and our in-law and our parents.
Yeah, and then they had a really cute area with all white that really made it pop. This was the actual ceremony space, and as you could tell, like the draping, it kind of like had like a do not enter per John's request. And then I just love the way that this looked with all of the lights in the kind of vases, and the lighting was just so perfect.
I still love what we created. And like, I think that's what if I give anyone advice, is that like, you want to look back on it and be proud of it and like love it. And I still, looking at it all these years later, I still absolutely love it.
Yeah. And then this is all of the readings we had. This is us exchanging our vows, putting rings on, our first kiss, our first walk down the aisle, which I'm sure you've seen that photo if you follow us on Facebook. And then the tree! You have to look at this tree and be like, yes, this tree is everything. And then you could see in the left-hand corner we had, there wasn't the photo in there.
Because we didn't have them yet.
Yeah, but this was what everyone signed. The photos of the step and repeat.
Oh, there is our monogram dance floor, as well as our cake. I only wish that we had put the cake differently so that, like, you don't get that DJ in the background, but hindsight, you know?
It's okay. We had a bunch of other photos that he wasn't. And then
these are the toasts.
These are the toasts. You have my best friend Lauren giving it. She gave a really funny, heartfelt speech. Johnny's friends did a whole monologue from Bridesmaids.
And actually they combined a bunch of movie quotes. There was Bridesmaids, there was To Wong Fu. It was just like all of our referential humor.
It was really funny, as you could tell.
You could tell when I'm laughing!
You know how they have images? I think they're memes now. They're like, you could hear these images. And if you look at this photo, you could just hear Johnny's laugh. And then you could see like our bouquet of flowers in the backgrounds. And then this was our first dance, always making each other laugh. And then these are the first dance with our parents. This is a really nice view. You could see the sky and how we had everything draped off of the ceiling and the chandeliers.
It was always really striking in black and white. You put anything in black and white and it always just looks, as Jim would say, Halpert would say, classy. And then a montage page of just people dancing and having fun.
I will say the DJ did a phenomenal job. The music was current. It was, you know, very, like, it themed well. He had an entire section of the early 2000s where, like, the Spice Girls faded into Backstreet and NSYNC and Britney, and then I was in the bathroom for J-Ho, which my friends still never let me forget.
We also, our DJ was really good about moving, like not playing full songs to overexhaust them. Like he would do like verse, chorus, and then would transition during the bridge. And it was awesome. It was the best. Like,
and then they played some songs for like our moms, because they were like Michael Jackson fans, and you know, we tried to please everyone, not just songs that we liked. Just the entire time everyone was on the dance floor. We didn't have like one moment where, you know, sometimes you're at weddings and you're like, okay, why is the DJ playing this song? Like, no one's into it. Literally, like, the entire time the dance floor was filled.
And the other thing that we thought about, too, was always our guest experience. Just like Disney, right? Like, we wanted to make sure, like, what are the things that, like, we asked ourselves, what are the things that we remember from weddings, right? Like, the food, if there's alcohol or not, or, like, what the bar situation is, and the music. And so those, we kind of use those, the guest experience, just like Walt does, to guide how we planned it so that the guest experience would always be positive.
Yeah, we actually had the open bar was part of the package. They provided us with one bartender and we're like, that's not gonna be enough. So we paid extra for two, which we're glad we did because the lines were always short. People were like able to get, you know, drinks whenever they wanted. And it was a lot of fun.
I forgot we oh my god, you have a better memory than me that we added. And then the last page is It's True I Was Made For You. That is from the story, and so we just wanted to end our album on that. And then look, there's a picture of us!
So another thing that you guys might be wondering is if we had any obstacles, you know, being gay. Because, you know, you always hear those stories like people refusing to do this because, you know, people are gay. We didn't have any of that. Everyone was super accepting, very LGBT friendly, and we just had like the greatest time. Everyone was, yeah, it was literally the perfect day.
Yay! And thank you for letting us share some of our day with you. If you have any questions about our wedding process or any of the vendors we use, please comment below and we'll be happy to chat about that with you. And if you enjoy videos where Tim and I just talk about our lives more, comment below if you want to see that and what part of our lives specifically would you like us to talk about.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you are having a good time, please take a moment to give this video a like. And if you're not a subscriber and enjoy lifestyle, Disney game, pop culture, and lifestyle, I said that twice, related content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And if you are a subscriber, we had a blast reminiscing and kind of taking a really great trip down memory lane and getting us excited for our anniversary.
So we're gonna have a very nice time on our anniversary. Johnny is fully vaccinated now, so both of us are. So we're gonna kind of just have like a little nice staycation because we're still not really that comfortable with staying in hotels at the moment. But yeah, it's been fun reliving this with you guys, and we'll see you later.
Take care, everyone. Bye.